The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
All right, welcome to Getting to Know You. My name is Joe Nash. Today we're going to be hearing about JROTC, which is Junior ROTC. Our guests are from Albany High. We have Major David Erickson, retired, correct?
Correct.
And we have two juniors who participate in the JROTC, Christine Black and Francis Mang. Did I say it right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for coming. Before we specifically talk about your Albany High program and what you guys do, I just want, Major Erickson, can you just tell us a little bit about Junior ROTC? I think most people know what ROTC is, but tell me what the junior is and how it applies to ages and everything, a little history.
Okay. Well, Junior ROTC is just what it says. It's a junior program. It's for high school students, grade 9 to 12. And our mission statement is to motivate young people to be better citizens. So it's not a preparatory program for the military. I mean, if a young person went in the military, they might get an extra rank or two, but that's not the purpose of it.
You don't have to join the military.
No, it had nothing to do with that. And statistically, our numbers are maybe a hair or two higher than the high school population in general, but we about mirror what they do.
And I think you were also telling me you have to sort of apply for this. Anyone can't just have one. Is that what you were telling me?
Correct. The schools, there are 1,700 Army JROTC schools throughout the nation, and there's and the Marines and the Air Force and the Navy also have programs. The Army is the largest service.
And you guys at Albany High I'll just say, the Albany High program is Army. You guys are Army.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's about 300 schools on the waiting list. We were very fortunate. We were on the waiting list 1 year, and they took us in. Other schools on the waiting list 7 or 8 years, and they still don't have it yet. So we've done quite well for ourselves.
And you are, I guess, how would you say, you're the director, the commander? What's your title?
You don't command in JROTC.
But you're a retired.
Correct.
The person that runs it in the schools have to be retired.
Right. You have to have a minimum of 2 instructors, and 1 officer and 1 NCO. Okay. And so I have the officer role, and I have a first sergeant Alan Rion, who just retired actually about 2 months ago now. And so he's my assistant, so to speak.
All right. And then just quickly before we get to the students, tell me about the program at Albany High. It's been going on for, 3 years?
This is our 3rd year right now, and this is our 2nd year of being fully funded by the Army.
Okay, so very good. So Christina, I keep saying Christina, I'm sorry.
It is Christina.
Oh, it is? Okay, I have a Christine here. Christina and Dave, who wants to talk first? Let me go with Christina.
Okay.
You're a junior. How did you find out about Junior ROTC, and what made you want to join, or were you skeptical?
Well, I always was interested in the military, but when my friend Chantel Clark, she graduated last year, she was in the program. She was one of the original cadets when the program first started.
Okay.
So when I first came to high school, that's when it first started. They had their green uniforms, and I was just really interested in it. So freshman year, I did not have room in my schedule for it at all. I had already given up my lunch and everything. So last year, I joined, and she recruited me.
Okay. And then Francis, what about you?
So you know how cadets, you get merits, you get ribbons and such if you recruited other students. And there was this cadet. He's my friend too. He recruited me.
He was already in it.
Yeah, he was already in it. He recruited me, and then I just went in.
What did you guys hear about this before you joined? What were kind of your thoughts on it? I mean, you both had friends that were in it. What did they tell you about it? Were they?
I mean, Chantel just said it was really fun, and it's a family-oriented kind of program. Everyone sticks together, and they looked cool in uniform. That was a good enough reason itself.
I would have to say you guys definitely look sharp. You definitely look sharp. And what about you, Francis? What had you heard about it?
What my friend told me is, the program can help me with my college and such, and plan my future and more, and then. It will also teach you how to work with others and such. So.
Okay, and then Major, is that how it typically do the kids recruit other kids, or do some kids just join on their own? Or is it both?
It's a combination of both.
Okay.
I mean, this year we did not have a recruiting day, so to speak. Kids just brought their kids in, and word of mouth. Word of mouth. Next year we're going to have an actual program, try to let people know early on.
Okay, and so the big thing about this, from what I've read and what the major was telling me, for you guys, I'll ask, this isn't just learning about the military and everything. There's a lot more to it. It's mainly leadership training. So what, is that an attraction? Is that what or do you have, what's your future plans? Are you planning on joining the military? Or?
Yeah, I want to enlist into the Army Reserves and go to college for nursing, psychology, and sociology.
Okay, so it sounds like you got everything planned out. What about you, Francis?
I'm planning on taking senior ROTC during college.
Okay, and then I should say, I think we already said this, you don't have to join the military, but are you thinking of possibly?
Yes, possibly.
You are, and you definitely are, right? Okay. So what are some of the activities that you guys do? Because I know you have both classroom work, you do military type stuff, and what are some of the activities you guys do?
Well, other than JROTC, I do sports. I do indoor track and soccer and lacrosse.
Okay. So how do you have time for all this?
Well, soccer is during the fall, and then
okay.
winter track is winter, and then lacrosse is spring. Everything is like after practice is mostly after school, so I could just go there practice after school.
Okay, and then I think the major was telling me before we started that you guys have to do this on your own time. Like, I think it was you, Christine. You don't have a lunch break? Is that what?
No, I don't. I gave it up.
You gave it up to begin this.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
For 2 years in a row.
Like when are your you have to go to regular classes?
Yes.
And sports and other activities.
Yeah.
So when do you do the JROTC?
I have a 6-period lunch, so I have to leave my 5th period class, which is actually really hard because it's a college class. We have to leave it like 2 or 3 minutes early, be in the back of the cafeteria, get your lunch, go from the lunchroom to JROTC, eat in a timely manner, and then get ready to do work or whatever we're doing that
So
particular
are the ROTC classes before and after school, or are they during school?
They're during the school day.
During.
Okay. And what kind of stuff do you do in the classroom for the ROTC?
Depends on your LET level. So the beginning, which is like LET 1, you're learning like the basic stuff. Facing movements, which is surprisingly in the book. They have like these cool diagrams.
Okay.
Where you learn about like folding the flag, the meanings of the flag, the meanings of the stripes, the colors, the stars. You just learn like the basics. And then the following year, that's more leadership oriented, government oriented.
Okay.
And then LET 3, LET 4, I don't really know because I'm not in it yet.
So is this for both of you? Is this your first year?
This is our second year.
Are you both second year? Okay. So, Francis, let me ask you, how do you find, what are some of the things in classroom that's different from your school classroom stuff that you're finding most interesting? Because you're not from America, are you?
No, I'm from Burma.
Okay, from Burma. So what do you tell me about some of the JROTC classes as opposed to your regular classes?
Well, I see like some big difference. Like some like regular class, the students have behavior problem, but in JROTC class, everyone's listening, everyone's engaged in class and everything.
Okay. Is that so? Does the major keep you guys in line? Is that bad?
Well,
Actually.
we have class leaders and such.
Yeah.
So like I'm a platoon leader, so I'm in charge of the period, and I have to make sure they're all like following along.
And so major, you do the classroom, you lead the classroom work, is that?
Yeah, Monday and Tuesday are academic days. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are what we call leadership lab days.
Okay.
So, for example, today's Wednesday, it's uniform inspection day. So all the students wear the uniform one day a week on Wednesday, and the cadets inspect other cadets and give them points.
Okay.
And Thursday is a leadership lab. A lot of times we do like marching. And the thing with marching is it's not the marching part, it's public speaking. So we have students that are maybe the second year of the program, they have to march a squat, and they have to get out publicly, and we teach them how to do that.
It means like to call the
cadences,
okay.
And then Friday we do a combination of things. We do partially physical training, but it's, one day a week's not going to put you in shape, but we teach them things you can do to become in better shape.
Oh, okay.
And right now we have some outside guest speakers come in. We have a guy came in right now. He's teaching about Machiavelli.
Okay.
So we do a lot of extra stuff. And it's a combination thing on Friday.
I think you were telling me before we started, besides learning about Machiavelli, you learn a lot about American history, the juries. Tell us about some of the curriculum.
Well, some of the curriculum. For example, last week Francis and Christina here, in my Let 2 class, and one of the things we talk about is the American form of government, how it works.
Okay.
So last week we had a case, for example, how the jury system works.
Yeah, okay.
And actually, you two were in the same class. So
Okay.
they had a class of a case in Texas about burning the flag. Should
Yeah.
you allow that or not allow that? And that got really heated in the class. It was great. We tried to get the mock trial room that day, but we couldn't. And these two were on the opposite. Oh, you were on the.
We were on
we were
opposite
opposite.
time.
Yeah, so it was great. It was a lot of
But
fun.
it's only the ROTC students. You don't invite the other students?
No, this is our class. And the other, like, for example, next year when they're seniors, the Let 4 program, we teach stuff about how to, we use a NEFI program, National Education and Finance Foundation, about checkbooks, credit cards, life insurance, health insurance. So it's
Like life skills?
life skills. And one of the things we had, the juniors just had 2 weeks ago, was a class in etiquette, how to set the table. When you
Okay.
go out to eat, I had a guy come in last year, Anthony Owens from Albany. He came in and bought all kids all plastic silverware, and we went set at a table, set all the tables, which fork to use first, how to set the napkin down.
Wow.
So it's a lot of social skills combinations.
So are you guys finding you're learning things in some of these classes? I don't want to say you're not learning in regular high school. You're learning things that are enhancing your regular classes, like American history and things like that?
Yeah, in a way, like especially with history, because
Yeah.
you know we learn about the wars and stuff. But what's cool about JROTC is that they tell you things that your teachers don't tell you, or maybe things that they didn't know. Because I mean, obviously he was in some of the stuff that happened, or other people were, and they can tell us like an inside scoop.
You can tell us
like
from firsthand.
yeah, like the guy that came in and told us about Machiavelli, before he told us about that, like, what was it, like a couple months ago, he came in and he like showed us plans that they were going to do during World War I, but they never did it because
Yeah.
plans changed. So it's like, it's cool.
So what are some of the guest speakers you've had? It sounds kind of interesting, actually.
Well, like for example, I have a friend of mine who was my tank driver in Germany.
Okay.
And all he wanted to do, he was a great guy. He was from New York City. And never left the city until he was 17 and joined the Army. But he got out, and now he works at Harlem Drug Squad undercover. He comes up once a year to talk to my classes about how to get in the police force, making life choices, life decisions. I used to have, he hasn't been in recently, but I used to get Mike Breslin to come in.
Okay.
And for example, he was on the football team at West Point.
All right.
And there's a movie out called about the cheating scandal back in the 50s. And we put I used to put the kids in there, and this will be doing with the Let 4s next year. I haven't watched the movie. And then what would you have done in that situation? And Mr. Breslin would come in because he knew that coach.
Oh, okay.
And he'll come in and talk. I have I know. He'll come in and share. And also, I have a guy that he escaped from East Berlin when he was 14 years old.
Oh, okay.
And he's about in his early 70s now. He'll come in and talk about how that happened, what it was like to live under that system. And then he gets the kids going, what's the most important right you had that you need to defend?
Oh, I mean, he lived under the communist.
Oh, yeah, he was 14
okay.
when they left.
All right.
So we bring some of those people in. Last year we got the library sponsored it. What was the book with the boys? The book, the author came.
Are you talking about the book? Okay. I don't remember.
Was he
his
the
name.
fellow from East Greenbush that served in Iraq?
Oh yeah, we went to see his.
Okay.
We saw him. That was his guest. But the speaker that came in last year, he wrote the book. From New York City, the kid was an ROTC. He's an African American student. What was the name of that book? We'll think about it.
Well, anyway, okay.
I just want to add one thing. One of the things they talk about, he asked Francis how he has so much time. One of the things JROTC, we have a class on, is time management.
Yeah.
So part of what we make the kids, we grade them on their agenda each day, how well they manage their time. So that helps.
Do you find, like, both of you can answer this, do you find being in JROTC helps you with your regular class work and possible your future, college and everything?
You go first.
Yes, definitely.
You find it helps you
Yes.
apply some of this stuff to your other classes?
Yes. Yeah. Like. I don't know. How to
You got
say it.
time. Well, he says you guys learn time management.
Yes, we
Okay.
learn time management. We learn about first aid and such and stuff. Yeah.
And what about you, Christina?
So my answer is not completely valid, and the reason why is because my situation is different. No, just wait. I last year I moved to Troy, so
Okay.
I've been coming from Troy to Albany every day. So already I had time management in me
Yeah.
because I got to get up early, be
Yeah.
at school at 7 a.m. for practice, and I already kind of learned how to manage my time because it's like an hour commute by bus. So it takes me an hour to get there. Then I go to school, do what I have to do, stay after school, then go back home, do homework, sometimes have sports, and then, just repeat it. So
you can still go to Albany High and live in Troy? Is that your special?
Her mother lives in Albany.
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what you're
So,
saying.
yeah.
All right.
So she's in Albany, right?
Where in Troy do you live? Because I'm from Troy.
I like near Lansingburg.
Okay, that's Troy. Okay, very good. So let me ask you guys about, you're both involved in this summer program. What you were calling it, what, Girls State and Boys State? Why don't you, Major, you can tell me what that program is, then you guys can tell us.
Well, both programs are sponsored by the American Legion.
Okay.
And what they do, the boys go to Morrisville and the girls go out to Brockport. And they live under a model government for like a week.
Like the military? Like,
No. Most kids who go to this are not in JROTC.
Oh, okay.
They go to every high school in the district. Like Albany County, I think, sends 24 boys and 7 girls. The girls' state program is a little bit smaller. It just so happens that our kids are in JROTC, but most kids that go there are not.
Are not, okay.
And what they do, they divide them to 2 parties, or the Federalists and the Greens, whatever they call them.
Nationalists.
Nationalists. Okay, they've been checking out better than I have. And they elect everyone up through state governor, and then they learn how bills are passed. It's how government's supposed to work, not how it works, how it's supposed
All
to
right,
work.
so have you guys been before to this?
No.
All right, so it's a week-long sort of learning how the legislative branch would work.
Everything from the city level up to the state governor, yeah.
That sounds like it might be pretty interesting. And where is it, on a college campus?
Morrisville for the boys and Brockport for the girls.
So you guys won't be bringing your uniforms, is that
No.
just,
Wait, we might be allowed to. Because they said business casual, and this is technically.
So what do you guys, there's about 100, I think we mentioned earlier, there's about 100 students at Albany High are in JROTC, but Albany High is a very big school. So what do some of the other kids think of you guys? Or is there both positive and negative, or what?
A little bit of both.
Or some people just see you as just another club like the...
No, it's a little bit of both. Some people think it's really cool, and like they think it's amazing of how like when it first started, it was like a little group of kids, but like now on Wednesdays you see blue uniforms like everywhere. Like you don't go to a classroom without seeing at least one of us, and it's really cool. Some people think that it's they think that you just go straight to the military, so that's why they're against it. And like we have to let them know, like, no, you don't have to go to the military. It's a discipline program, but it's hard to do. A lot of them think that it's just a military program, which deters them from joining. And then other kids just think it's cool.
Okay. And Francis, what's your reaction to some of your friends who aren't in JROTC? Do
They when I first joined, they thought I was going to the Army. I'm just like, well, hold up. Yeah, so like most of like the kids think that JROTC all about going straight into the military and Army and stuff.
So that's your big thing. You got to constantly tell people.
Yeah, definitely.
We're not joining, but you might.
Yeah, and then they all definitely they think we're gonna go to the Army.
Oh, okay. And so what are let me ask you this: when you're at school, what are some of the JROTC activities besides some of the ones you've been telling me? You have classroom work, you do marching. Do you learn like military history or?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, we do learn about the military history and such. And then also like in the morning we have drill team, which is like competing against other school on marching and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then we have Raiders team. We work out and we're getting ready to compete in next competition for Raiders.
Okay.
So every JROTC high school have Raiders team, and then we just go to this one place, we compete, and then basically it's all about physical fitness, and then going through obstacle, land navigation and such.
All right, so you got to learn. It sounds like you would not have time to do all this besides being regular high school students.
We also have a JROTC sponsors an academic team, which is based on SAT scores. It's a web-based competition, and the top 40 schools in the nation get the all-expense-paid trip to Washington usually for the national competition. They have a leadership team, which is based on George C. Marshall's Principles of Leadership, and same thing, the top 40 teams in the nation get to go to the Washington all-paid trip, expense-paid trip. They have a cyber warfare team, so to speak, a cyber defense team. Yeah. The Air Force sponsors that, but it's open to all schools across the country. So we have those teams also we work with. So we've got a number of different things that the kids do.
And then is this something you stay in all 4 years? Or
Well, yeah.
okay.
Well, it depends on when you join. Like some people are only in it for 2 years, some are only on it for 3. It just depends on when you join.
Well, can you just join for a year or what?
Right, so you can just join at the beginning of the year. So I've got a couple of students that are seniors that just joined this year.
All right.
And yeah, I mean, you obviously get the most if you join as a freshman. You can go all through all 4 years, but
But it's not like it's a 4-year program.
no,
You
I mean,
can join-
it's set up for 4 years, but I mean, so if you went for 4 years, you have different academic
Okay.
programs each day, and you have different leadership levels.
So how do you? Oh, that's the major. Tell me about your. What do you call everyone together? Is it a platoon? Is it a brigade?
It's called a battalion.
battalion.
So battalions.
So what do you think of the Albany High Battalion? Do they have like a name or something?
Yes, we are the Sergeant Henry Johnson Battalion.
Okay, named after
Yeah,
Henry Johnson.
Henry Johnson. So the 369 Veterans Organization actually supports us a lot, and all the veterans groups in Albany give us a lot of support.
And so what can you tell me about the whole brigade besides just these two fine
Well,
examples?
I would say we are the most diverse group in the school. I have students that are,
Oh, you mean of all the different?
we are the biggest melting pot in Albany High. I have classes, in one class you'll have students that take AP classes. You'll have students that are trying to pass classes.
Yeah.
You'll have students that are like physical fitness fanatics. And you'll have students that think physical fitness is turning a TV off by hand, not using a remote. And they're all in that same class together, and they all feed off each other.
Okay.
So for me, on the selfish side, it's kind of like being in the Army still, because you have all these different people with all these different ideas, and they're all working together as a team. And that's for me, to watch young people do that. You always hear negative things about young people.
Yeah.
When I watch these guys, I know that our future is secure. I really
Well,
believe
I mean, if you watched the march in Washington last week, you saw great examples.
Right.
So, Francis, are you the only student in the JROTC that's not from America? Or are you?
Definitely
is there-
not.
Like,
All right, so it
close.
is a diverse group.
Close.
I mean, who else is in? Where else are people from besides?
Well, there's a lot of people that's not just that's not born in America.
Yeah.
Like some cadets like from like Pakistan, India, like Nepal and such.
Really?
Yeah.
So you got people from.
There's more places than that.
Yeah, there's more
It's a
places.
lot.
What other countries?
Well, I'm pretty sure Dominican Republic counts.
yes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
counts. There's a couple kids from like Afghanistan, which is like
Really?
really cool because they tell us about. Well, I'm not sure if you talked to him, but there's like these 2 kids from Afghanistan, and they told me about like what happened when they were younger and why they left, and it's just like
Wow.
crazy because in school, we know Afghanistan is like the center
Yeah.
when it comes to military history. So it's kind of cool that in class they tell us their side, but then like we got these 2 other cadets that are telling me like what they seen from like
And they
their
were
point of view
actually-
as kids,
Yeah.
watching it growing up, and they know like both sides of it in a way. And yeah, there's people from everywhere. We got some people from Africa,
Congo,
Nigeria, like
Really?
different parts of Asia, like literally everywhere.
And what are some of their reasons that they joined? You know, or
They
same as
talk.
these?
I think it's be part of it's an easy group to belong to. Everyone's different, and it's very, very welcoming. I mean, I have one section, a 7th period class, and I think there's 17 of us in that class, and only 2 were born in U.S. soil, and I'm not one of them. I wasn't born here either, and so that class is great. I mean, they're all great, but it's just
Oh, wow.
it makes it makes for a lot of fun.
So you were telling me before we started, the only other schools in our immediate area that have JROTC are LaSalle, CBA, and Amsterdam, but you're saying the Albany High one is the most diverse, the biggest? Where would you
I would say, I mean, it's definitely one of them. I can't. Schenectady's probably pretty diverse.
Yeah.
Schenectady has an Air Force,
Okay.
JROTC, but ours is it's definitely one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse, because Albany has a lot of different groups living here.
Okay. So
There's-
We're gonna have the best picnic in the fall.
There's actually, last time I checked, so we have around 3,000 students in the whole school. There's about 24 or more spoken languages within the building.
at Albany High.
Yes. So like you walk down the hallway and you hear all types of different languages, and it's cool. You learn like a couple words here and there from other people.
The good ones, right?
You know, getting
Good
back to
ones.
what you were saying before, I guess a lot of times we don't hear about things like this, how good the kids are, and upstanding and everything. It seems like the news only concentrates on the negative sometimes. So what, before we end, let me just, I know I asked you at the beginning, but you can reiterate this, but what are your future plans going to be, Francis, after Albany High? And I know things change, but what are you at the moment?
Well, at the moment, I'm planning on going to college, right, and then take senior ROTC, commissioner's officer, and be an Army officer.
Be an Army officer, okay. So, and Christina, what
Oh,
do
you went far as the officer. Okay. Then we gotta get technical. I want to enlist into the Army Reserves, which means that you're going to ROTC during college. And in college, I'll be taking classes for nursing, psychology, and sociology.
Okay. So that's your plans. And this started 3 years ago. So what have you heard from some of the former students that have already, the first 3 years that have graduated? What are some of them doing?
Well, one of my students I remember the most is Sarah Tizzulo, and she was our first cadet colonel we ever had. And Sarah's a Russell Sage right now, doing extremely well.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I saw her last night at an event downtown Albany.
Okay.
And they will come back and talk. One of our students is actually, he joined the Army, and he's up in Alaska. Just different students come back at different times, and they come in and talk. And I like them to come in and talk and tell, because they're only 2 years out of high school.
Yeah.
And, I can tell students, hey, do this or that, and they oh, you're this old guy. But if someone 2 years older then comes back, they kind of listen more.
Yeah.
So they will come back and talk to students. A lot of them off in college. Chantel Clark, she's up at SUNY Albany this year.
Yeah.
Taking biology.
I seen her yesterday.
Okay.
So, matter of fact, they came back. Chantel claimed our military ball this year, which we did as a logo post, which was a lot of fun.
Okay. So you had a military ball. Huh? That sounds like, well, this sounds like a very amazing program. And is this your first JROTC that you've been running?
No, I've worked at other ones.
You've worked at other ones?
Right.
Oh, okay.
So this is the best one. This is truly fun, and I can't reiterate enough the level of support that comes from the school district, from the superintendent on down to the teachers in the school.
Okay.
They have a problem with a student, they'll come and talk to us and say, hey, can you talk to a student? And we'll talk to them, and it helps them in their classroom too.
Okay.
So very, very supportive of the school.
So before we end, I just want to ask you, have you guys recruited any of your friends?
Yeah.
How many of you, Christy?
Sadly, only 3. I'm not sure if I can get the ribbon yet, because I think I got more than that.
What, if you get a certain number, you get a...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Have you recruited?
So I like right now. I'm
He's about
not
to
bragging,
get-
but
Yes, he
working
is.
on something.
but I have the most recruit in the whole battalion. So like,
that have
this
joined.
one is for recruiting.
So you recruited
Like at least like 4 or 6.
4 or 5? Okay.
Yeah,
So
4, 5,
they're
6.
they're regular, okay.
But they got to stay for a semester. You can't just bring a person in
Yeah.
and they quit the next day. They got to stay
How many do we need to get a ribbon?
too.
Oh,
Well,
I
you
should've
got,
it.
you have some ribbons there.
Yeah, these are different ones. Let level, parade, and sports.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll see you guys at a Patroon game, because I know you go to some. So thanks for coming. We do appreciate it, and good luck in the future. And Major, this is a great program, so thank you for coming and
Thank you for having us
telling us
today.
about it. And we'll see you next time on Getting to Know You.